gamit ng letter K. But during the Spanish period, very less, no, very less for the Ilustrados and for the Filipinos and even Spaniards and friars to write letter K. So malalaman natin yan. And then hermeneutics, determining ambiguities, yung kalabuan, no? Kalabuan ng documents, hindi mo naiintindihan. And so, magkakaroon tayo ng problema dyan sa external criticism. So, that's it. We move on. We go to internal criticism. No? Tapos na tayo sa external, meaning yung external ay the issue on originality or authenticity of the document. This time, internal criticism is the problem of credibility. Even though the document is original, even though the document is authentic, pero merong issue siya sa credibility. So, relevant particulars in a document, is it credible? Nagagamit mo ba ang credible? Magagamit mo ba yung document sa pag-interpret mo ng historical data? So, we have here very similar, as close as what really happened from the critical examination of best available sources. Ito yung kanyang test, no? The test of credibility. Identification of the author. So always have to identify the author. If he is reliable, if he has mental stability, or meron siyang mental issue, or personal attitudes. Kasi sinabi ko nga sa inyo, ang document ay bias, no? Nagre-rely siya sa interpretation or sa perspective of the author. And so, if the author has an attitude or if the author has mental problem, then it can affect the credibility of the document. There. Am I speaking too fast?
Sakto lang, sir.
No, sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Kasi lalabas to sa examination ninyo, kaya screenshot nyo na to. So, number 2, determination of the approximate date, handwriting, signature, seal. So, it's actually similar to the external criticism, but this time, I think should be considered if kapag tayo ay nasa mood, naapektuhan yung ano natin, pagsulat natin. No? Kapag tayo ay nasa mood. Say for example, if you have a conditioned mind, especially if you have a conditioned pen, magandang ink, ang ganda ng penmanship mo. Meron kang kondisyon na papel, ang ganda ng flow ng writing mo. Pero sometimes if you are out of your mood, sometimes if you have problems, sometimes if you are in a hurry, nagiging pangit ng penmanship mo, no? So, do you agree? Kung kasi ganito ako eh. Kung nagmamadali ako, kung wala ako sa mood, kung wala ako sa kondisyon, pangit yung penmanship ko. Pero kapag ako ay nasa kondisyon, ang ganda ng penmanship ko. Ganun din ba kayo?
Yes po.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes po, sir.
Okay. So, kung i-examine natin ang writing ni Rizal sa Noli Me Tangere, napakaganda, no? Napakaganda because when Rizal was writing his Noli Me Tangere, he was in love, no? He was in love with his girlfriend, si Leonor Rivera. He was actually very inspired of his education in Europe. He was inspired by his new organizations in Europe. Kaya napakaganda. When he began writing his El Filibusterismo, nagkaroon na ng problema sa Pilipinas. No? His family were persecuted. His friends despised him. His girlfriend was infidel. Nagkaroon ng ibang boyfriend at nag-asawa. Believing that Jose Rizal was already gone. He was already like out of the country at hindi na nagpaparamdam kay Leonor. Kaya nagpakasal siya sa iba. Alam niyo na yung story niya? Alam niyo na yung story nila?
Hindi pa, sir.
Hindi.
Hindi pa lahat,
Ikwento ko yan
sir.
sa inyo na personal para mas ma-appreciate ninyo. Kasi ang sabi nga natin, you will never appreciate El Filibusterismo and Noli Me Tangere kung puro content lang ang ating babasahin without knowing the real scenario. Kasi totoong nangyari sa buhay ni Rizal ang isinulat niya doon, ang apektuhan yun ang kanyang content, no? Again, when he was writing Noli Me Tangere, the first novel, he was in love, he was inspired. Kaya maganda yung nobela. when he was writing his second novel, El Filibusterismo, his family was persecuted. He was in grief. He was in trouble. He was heartbroken. So kaya ang laman ng El Filibusterismo masyadong madilim, no? Masyadong full of revenge. So dito nakikita natin yung determination of proximate date, handwriting, signature, depending on the attitude of the author. And so number 3, ability to tell the truth. So the nearness to the event, competence of witness, pati ang competence ng witness kailangan natin malaman, and of course degree of attention. So before you are going to apply this class sa sa module 2 natin kasi napakalapit na ng module 2 natin. The module 2, before kayo maniwala sa primary sources like the work of Antonio Pigafetta, the work of Juan de Plasencia, the work of Emilio Jacinto and others, identify nyo muna, idaan nyo muna sa external criticism at saka sa internal criticism. That is why, alamin natin kung sino yung author. That's the contextual background. No? Yun yung una-una nyo gagawin context analysis. Alamin nyo kung sino yung author, alamin nyo ang background, kung bakit niya isinulat yun before we analyze the content or the content analysis. So, dadaan yan sa internal and external criticism. So, kayo nagagawa niyan. That is why, during your presentation, tatanungin ko kayo kung ano yung behavior, kung ano yung characteristic ng author na yan, bakit niya ginawa yan, baka it might affect na mayroong gustong mag-join. Dabe, sino ba yan? Si Alvin. More. So, next is corroboration, historical facts, particulars, which rests upon the independent testimony of 2 or more reliable witnesses. Yang corroboration class, dapat hindi ka makarely lamang sa isang tao, no? You try to interview or try to investigate other sources as well if that document has similarity to the first document. So meron kang ginagawang comparison, hindi lang sa isang document. That is why sa korte, kapag may witness, hindi lang pwedeng isa, no? Dalawa dapat o tatlo to check the similarity of their answer. So in history, we call that corroboration. No, corroboration. Eyewitness number 1, eyewitness number 2, eyewitness number 3, i-triple check natin yan kung parehas ang kanilang sagot or may similarity ang kanilang sagot. So there, the credibility becomes strong. There you go. Yeah. So I think we end our 2 topics here, the internal and external criticism. Do you have any question? Natin different kinds of primary source repositories. Tuloy natin yan. We still have 1 hour to discuss it. Ha?
Sir, so basically, sir, yung external criticism is nag-focus po siya sa authenticity ng work po, sir.
Medyo malabo.
Mismo
Ano
sa
yun?
work.
Ano yun?
Bale, sir, yung sa external criticism po, sir, nag-focus po siya sa work po mismo. Pero yung sa internal po, sir, more on sa author. Or,
Yes, ganito. Ang external criticism is more on hardware. It's more on papel, ballpen na ginamit, ang handwriting. If the document is original. Yung internal criticism, yung kanyang nilalaman, no? Yung kanyang nilalaman. If the writing is legit, what I mean is if the story is legit, if the thoughts of the author is legit, if the story itself is very near to the truth. So yun yung internal. Yung external, yung nahahawakan, papel, ballpen, tao, di ba? So yung may pwedeng dalawa yung authors Yung author sa external ay yung legit bang author, siya ba yung author? Yung author naman sa internal criticism ay ang behavior, ang attitude at characteristic ng author. So if the author is, a born liar, so the document na isinulat ay pwedeng hindi pumasa sa internal criticism kasi baka puro lies lang ang isinulat niya doon. Something like that, no? So, again, the internal criticism is more on the content. Okay? If the content is telling the truth, if the content is biased, okay, based on the characteristic or the attitude of the author. The external criticism, kung totoo ba yung papel na ginamit, kung ang pencil ba or ang ballpen ba ay tama ang ginamit niya, kung ang time and date and place swak ba siya sa ginamit ng author, something like that. Okay? Any other question before we proceed? Thank you for the clap.
Sir, di ba sir, may book po
Sige, Drew.
yung si Rizal po, sir?
Ano?
Sa pa, di ba po, may book po yun where Rizal inspired to wrote his 2 novels po.
Ah,
Yung Count of Monte Cristo po at yun.
yes. What about?
Wala lang po sir, pero curious lang po sa parang confirmation lang po if
Yeah.
true po yung
Um,
nakikita.
Jose Rizal was inspired by Alexander Dumas The Count of Monte Cristo when he wrote his El Filibusterismo and Noli Me Tangere. The Count of Monte Cristo was just one of his basis, no? One of his basis kasi meron pang Uncle Tom's Cabin, yung mga yung mga discrimination sa mga blacks. So isa rin yung inspiration niyang libro para maisulat niya ang dalawang nobela niya. Anyway, all of this will be discussed to you when you will have your History 100. That's Rizal. No? That's Rizal. Perhaps second sem, meron kayong Rizal. So magandang pag-usapan yan. Siyempre, ibang teacher naman para hindi lang puro ako, di ba? Tanong nyo na rin yan sa kanila kung ano nila.
Mas
Yes,
prefer namin if ikaw, sir.
ha? Bakit kayo umiiyak? Grabe.
Bakit mo hindi ikaw, sir?
Depende sa availability ng schedule ko. Baka may
Mas
research
prefer namin if ikaw, sir.
kasi nasanay ko yung sa akin ba. Huwag kayong umiyak.
Hindi po kami papayag, sir.
Anyway, sige. We move on. Sino ba yung may hate kay Aguinaldo?
Ako po, sir.
Ikaw pala yun. Bakit mo nga hate si Aguinaldo, be?
Sir, ang tagal na mamatay.
Kan kasi siya. Alam mo naman yung kasabihan na masamang damo, hindi namamatay, no? Kung sa Chabacano pa yan na mal herba nung kamuere. Yan. Mal herba nung kamuere. Bad herbs or ano ba tawag diyan? Grass, no? Di basta-basta namamatay. May kakampi siya kasing duwende, sir. Actually, hindi duwende, no? Kapre ata eh. Parang kapre. May mapapakita ko sa inyo yung documentary na pinoprotektahan siya ng mga maligno. Kasi maligno rin talaga siya. Anyway, so aside from that, no more question kasi we move on to our last two topics, the different types of primary sources and repositories. Screenshot nyo na lang yan. Okay? If you can get a copy, screenshot nyo na lang. Screenshot nyo. At saka nandun sa libro. Kasi yung ninyo, yung examination ninyo is open book. No? It's open book. So, hindi kayo mahihirapan dyan. Unless, kung alam nyo na ang mga lalabas. Sige, we move on to our next topic and that is different kinds of primary sources. Wait lang. Off ko muna yung cam ko at saka ang aking mic kasi hanapin ko muna yung file. Stay there, no? Stay there. Don't go out. Okay, I'm back. So, based on your book, after the meaning of after the meaning of internal and external criticism, ano ang next? Diyan sa libro natin.
Repositories of primary sources, sir.
Repositories of primary sources, and what else? Different types of primary sources, no? So this will be our next topic, our last topic for module 1 before we proceed to the report, which will be after our examination for module 1. Ibig sabihin, tapusin ko to ngayon, ha? Okay, tapusin natin tong module 1 ngayon, and then when we meet on Friday, we will have our first examination, and then the first voyage around the world, reporters, please be ready. Hoy! Ano? Ano? Or module 1 only? Nakikita nyo ba? Maliit, maliit ba malaki?
I-zoom lang, sir.
Announce. Ha? Can you ano? Can you clearly see the PowerPoint?
Pwede lang ma-zoom, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Parang hindi ko siya makontrol. Wait lang. Ay, repositories na naman. How about this? Can you see? Parang maliit man. Palitan ko na lang to. Stop sharing. Okay. I will use another entire screen para mas bongga. Yan. Medyo mas klaro to, di ba? Check. Hello?
Klaro, sir.
Mas klaro siya.
Yes, sir.
Hindi nyo lang makita yung kagapuhan ko dyan, pero mas klaro dito ang PowerPoint. Anyway, tuloy tayo. So, repositories of primary sources. Ano bang ibig sabihin yan? Say repositories, these are the storehouse or hardware kung saan nakatago, kung saan nakahilera ang mga primary sources. So if you wish to visit these places where primary sources are available, then you may do so. So I am going to identify places where you can visit and witness primary sources. Ayan. So again, yung sa repositories, ito yung kung saan naka-store ang mga primary sources for preservation and protection. Okay, so number 1 here we have the National Archives of the Philippines. No, when you say National Archives of the Philippines, here you can look for documents from ancient to Spanish period. No, from ancient to Spanish. Mga documents yan lahat nakasulat diyan. So walang American documents diyan sa National Archives of the Philippines. And therefore, anong ma-encounter nyo dyan sa National Archives of the Philippines? These are Chinese documents and Spanish documents. No? Chinese and Spanish documents collected all over the Philippines and na-stuck dyan sa National Archives of the Philippines. Sino bang nakapunta na dyan? Wala pa? Okay. The National Archives of the Philippines is located in Intramuros. No? Nasa Intramuros yan. So, pwede nyo siyang bisitahin kung may time kayo. Let us say, nag-visit kayo sa relatives niyo or for educational tour in Manila, you visit National Archives of the Philippines. Secondly, we have the National Library of the Philippines. No? The National Library of the Philippines, still in Manila. Here, it's the mother of all libraries. Okay? It's the mother of all libraries. So ang library ng WIMSU, ang library dyan sa City Library dyan natin o sa may Boulevard, lahat yan sila, anak yan sila ng National Library of the Philippines. Lahat sila humihingi ng permiso sa National Library of the Philippines. Okay? So that's the mother para siyang Central Bank of the Philippines na lahat ng bangko ay under sa Central Bank. So lahat ng library ay under sa National Library of the Philippines. You get it? Ayan. So
Yes,
yes,
sir. Yes, sir.
books and documents that you wish to study and to research about are available here. Okay, most of them nasa digital na para hindi masira yung libro, no? Digital. So most of the documents in the National Library of the Philippines are secondary sources, good secondary sources, no? Ito namang sa National Archives of the Philippines, ito yung very legit primary sources kasi handwriting talaga, manuscript, no? Manuscript ng mga Espanyol at saka ng mga Chinese dito sa pambansang archives. Next, we have the National Historical Commission of the Philippines, still in Luneta. Nasa Luneta yan siya. So ito yung bahay ng lahat ng historians, no? Lahat ng historians sa Pilipinas. So, National Historical Commission of the Philippines. So, say for example, projects ng mga landmarks, historical landmarks. So, ang nagpapatakbo niya ng National Historical Commission of the Philippines. And also, they are required to publish materials, research historical events, wherein they are heavily funded by the government. And then, the National Museum of the Philippines. Actually, we have 3 national museums, no? Kung sino man nakapunta dyan, then congratulations. Magkadikit lang yung 3 museums. National Museum of Fine Arts. Dito yung mga paintings lahat ng ating mga national artists and sculptures ng national artists natin. National Museum for Fine Arts. And then we have National Museum for Anthropology. Ito yung puro artifacts, no? Artifacts, ancient prehistoric artifacts. And then we have National Museum for National History. You say national history, ito naman yung mga, hayop at saka flora and fauna. The flora and fauna or plants and animals during the Spanish period and American period as well. So doon yung makikita yung mga extinct na, yung mga hayop na hindi nyo na makikita ngayon, doon yung makikita. So again, the National Museum for Fine Arts, National Museum for Anthropology, and National Museum for National History. So makakadikit-dikit lang yan, napakalaki. You need full day to visit or to finish one national museum. Okay? So napasok ko na yan lahat, and lahat yan na parang nagamit natin yan for what do you call this, verification of our curriculum or our teachings there. So next is UP Main Library. So you go to UP Main Library. This is in Diliman. And ano bang mahanap natin dyan? It's more on Spanish, American, and the history of UP itself. Okay, the history of UP itself there. And then we have the Admo Rizal Library. Just went there last year. The Admo Rizal Library is more on American documents, and of course there is a special library for Dr. Jose Rizal, no? For Dr. Jose Rizal. So kasi si Rizal naman, alam nating Atenean yan siya. Ateneo graduate yan si Rizal High School. Kaya mahal na mahal siya ng mga Ateneans. Okay? Even Jesuits, no? Sorry, Jesuits pala. And the Ateneans are so proud of Dr. Jose Rizal as a graduate of this prestigious school. But during the time when Rizal graduated Ateneo, ang Ateneo ay located sa Intramuros. Ngayon wala na ang Ateneo sa Intramuros, nandun na siya sa Quezon, no? Next is the De La Salle University Library. When you go there, it's more on American documents, no? It's more on American documents. A huge library. It's a huge library. Wala ning kalahati yung library ng WIMSU dito. It's a huge library. Isang building talaga yan ang kanilang library. I also visited this library in the year 2016-17. And then we have the UST Library or the Miguel de Benavides Library. So ito ay mga documents ng mga Dominicans, no? Dominicans, and of course American period, Spanish and American period documents. So as you can see there, si Rizal nag-graduate ng high school sa Ateneo at nag-graduate siya ng college niya sa UST. Yan, sa UST. Iba't ibang mga order, no? ADMU, Jesuit, UST, Dominicans. Any question?
No, sir.
Okay, let's move on. Another is the Library of Congress. So this is outside our country. Most of the documents of the Philippines during the American period, kinuha yan ng mga Amerikano at dinala sa Amerika, no? During the American period. So they stole actually most of our primary sources and then displayed that in their museum and in their library. Wala na tayong choice kasi hindi natin yan makukuha. We cannot retrieve those documents. But all we can do is to visit the library or the museum at doon natin siya i-access, no? So kailangan mong lumipad papuntang Amerika to check our own document na under the protection or management of the Library of Congress. Same as the National Archives and Administration Records Administration. Ganun din. Okay, kaya documents that cannot be found in the National Archives of the Philippines and National Library of the Philippines can be found in the Library of Congress sa US and National Archives and Records Administration in US. And then most of the documents also are stored in the Archivo General de Indias and Archivo General de la Nación in Spain. No, they also have their own documents there as regards to the happenings in the Philippines. Next, American Historical Collection, and then Lopez Memorial Museum and Ayala Museum. So ito mga hindi ko pa ito na-visit eh. Pero one of these days, I will visit Lopez Memorial Museum. It's a private museum, an Ayala Museum. Grabe ang mga collections dyan na hindi yan magagawa. No? Yung mga collections dito ay hindi yan makuha ng the National Museum of the Philippines because of their, the cost of the, masyadong expensive. Most of the rare documents, rare artifacts, ay dinadaan to sa bidding at sino nakakuha niyan, dito din i-display sa Lopez Memorial Museum and Ayala Museum. So do not forget these museums once you visit Ayala, you visit Manila. Remember this. So sabihin niyo, gusto kong bisitahin tong Ayala Museum para makita niyo yung mga important historical documents there and artifacts. Now next, we go to kinds of primary sources. No? Kinds of primary sources. So we have here, one kind is human fossils. No? Human fossils. Ano ba yung human fossils na yan? Siyempre, example dito is the skull cap of Tabon Man. No? When I was still a student in early years of my teaching career, akala ko tong skull cap of Tabon Man ay singlaki ng skull ng tao. Pero when I saw this in person, para lang siyang skull ng unggoy. Okay? Para lang siyang skull ng unggoy. Pero it's not of the monkey or ape, but it's a human skull. Okay? So found in Tabon Cave in Palawan by Robert Fox in the 1960s. Nung nakita yan. And then we have also artifact. Itong tinatawag nating Manunggul jar. This artifact, Manunggul jar, can be found in the National Museum for Anthropology, same as the human fossils. So, may story ang ano na yan, ang Manunggul jar na yan, kasi diyan nilalagay yung labi, no, katawan ng isang patay na ano man tawag diyan, ancestor natin. Kita sa taas makikita mo may bangka diyan, may dalawang tao. So yung bangka is actually delivering the soul to afterlife. Katapos yung sa harap, yun yung soul, nakaupo. Yung sa likod, yun yung tagasundo, no? Siya yung nagro-row papuntang kabilang buhay. So, may story. That is why I told you, every artifact has a story to tell. Kaya kailangan natin ng experts to study, to investigate this, such as anthropologists and archaeologists. Okay, of course, historians. So next is royal decrees and laws, no? Recopilación de leyes de los reinos de las Indias. So royal decrees and laws, ito yung mga batas na ginawa ng hari at reyna, no? And signed or made by the royal audiencia, sorry, by the they call this uh, Spanish Cortes, okay, signed by the Spanish Cortes or approved by the Spanish Cortes and signed by the king and queen or the royal family. So, royal decrees and laws. Of course, we have official reports. Ayan, official reports usually during World War II. Ito yung mga reports na signed by the president and the governor general. We call that official reports. And of course, not just governor general, not just presidents, but during the American period, yung mga yung during World War II, generals, no? Generals. Next, chronicles. Chronicles, just like of Antonio Pigafetta, the chronicle, it's a story of the travels, no? Or the travelogue, as we call that. We call that chronicles. So hindi mo na masyado ginagawa yan ngayon kasi nagba-vlog ka naman. Kaya yung chronicles ay medyo nawawala na sa uso. But during the Spanish period, usong-uso ang chronicles. Okay, La Primera Vuelta al Mundo or the first voyage around the world. And then prior accounts, ang dami nating prior accounts during the Spanish period. Almost all stories were written by the friars because of their, educational qualification to write and to publish books. No, hindi yan basta-basta nagagawa ng ibang Espanyol kasi the friars were the only authorized entity to write accounts of the Philippines kasi they were missionaries. They travel all over the Philippines to write the story of our own ancestors. So prior accounts, just like of Juan de Plasencia, no? Yung sinulat ni Juan de Plasencia was a prior account. So number one, yung chronicles sinulat ni Antonio Pigafetta. Yung prior account is sinulat ni Juan de Plasencia. Are you still with me?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Ano? Ano daw? Hindi ko na-gets. Hindi ko na-gets yung sinabi.
Late lang po ata na-unmute, sir.
Your call ends in 8 minutes. 8 minutes na lang. Let me just finish this. And then next is maps. Yan. So maps can be considered as the primary source or primary sources kasi marami tayong mga ginawa ng mga Espanyol and Amerikano. No? This is just one example of a map. Let's move on. Memoirs. No, memoirs. These are written accounts of let us say it's an autobiography of a certain a part of your history na hindi mo makalimutan. No, it's not the entire autobiography but a portion only of your life story. For example, what Rizal had written this one, no? Memorias de un Estudiante de Manila. Ito lang yung isinulat niya, a part of his student life, no? Ang pangalan niya dito ay P. Jacinto, no? P. Jacinto, but that's Jose Rizal. His story there was his education in the school of Maestro Justiniano Aquino Cruz, Atenean life and Ateneo life and UST life. Yun yung kanyang story dito. And aside from that, no more. So you call that memoirs, no? A portion of your story only. And then personal account, ito ay tinatawag nating autobiography. No, it's an autobiography by Emilio Aguinaldo Infame, true version of the Philippine Revolution. I think I already told you about this one. Kasi maraming ang naninira sa reputation ni Aguinaldo kaya nagsulat din siya ng sarili niyang story. Pero this time is a true version of the Philippine Revolution. Ibig sabihin yung ibang version pala ay hindi totoo, no? Para lang to redeem himself from the accusations of his enemies. Next, we have newspapers. So, yan. Yan yung tinatawag nating a real primary source, especially written or published during the time under study. Magazines as well. So nakita niyo sa magazine, no? Ulat ng kasaysayan, ang impacto ng mga paring Kastila. So, yan. So newspapers, magazines, legislative journals. So you go to the library of the College of Law. So makikita niyo yan, mga legislative journals and court records. No, these are primary sources. Next, speeches. No, speeches. Klarong-klaro yan. For example, one of the topics ng second module is the speech of Cory Aquino. So you have to let us show the video of Cory Aquino speaking before the U.S. Congress and analyze its content. And then personal letters as well. We have online databases, okay, and blogs. Yan. So we consider this as, ini-screenshot nyo ba to? Okay, very good. Sige, sige. And then, siguro iba nire-record nyo, pero it's okay. Next is documentary films. Okay, and recorded interviews. So all of this, we consider this as primary sources. Okay, but how to identify primary sources? You must undergo the internal and external criticism. Okay, so I think that would be all for this afternoon session. Thank you very much. I will stop my sharing. Stop sharing na tayo. All right, so we are done with our module 1. Do you have any question?
Sir, yung ano po sir, yung Zamboanga Museum po sir, is it considered as repositories of primary sources po?
City Museum?
Yung Zamboanga Museum po.
Yes,
Malapit
sa Port Pilar. Sa Pasunangka. So yeah, it's a repository of primary sources. Kasi kung bisitahin mo yun, makikita mo doon yung mga artifacts, no, ng mga Amerikano, ng mga Hapon, during the Commonwealth and even after the Commonwealth. So makikita mo yung mga artifacts doon. Actually, we have 3 museums in Zamboanga, no. The first museum is the City Museum, and then second museum ay ang National Museum. So yung National Museum is being managed by the National Museum of the Philippines. Yun yung Fort Pilar, no? Hindi siya pwedeng galawin ng city government natin because under the National Museum. And then the third is the BPI Museum na hindi siya accessible because it's private. Kung saan nagstay si John Pershing, bahay niya yun, BPI Museum, sa tabi ng Fort Pilar, sa tabi ng post office, no? Sa tabi ng post office. So it's BPI Museum. Andun yung mga gamit ni Pershing sa taas kasi doon siya nagstay before. And even the equipments ng bank during American period is there. Hindi lang talaga natin na napapasok yun kasi alam mo na, masyadong private. So your examination will be on Friday, no? Same time, same place. Wag lang tayong ulanin ulit kasi alam mo na baka suspended na naman yung klase. And coverage of your examination will be from the first topic, the meaning and hindi pwede. Sa Friday na. Okay? Sa Friday na. So that we can start our report on Tuesday next week. Start na tayo sa report kasi actually delayed na tayo eh. Dapat nasa third or fourth reporters na tayo. Because of this suspension, nade-delay tayo. So again, examination will be on Friday. Coverage from the meaning of history, relevance of history, and then what else? Different types of primary sources, repositories. Ayan. So, any other question? Yes, Tan.
Sir, yung sa exam po, sa book lang po talaga kami mag-aral or mag-base po.
Yes. Sa discussion ko. At saka sa libro. Garcia.
Sir, lalabas pa sir yung mga museum sir, yung kanina sir?
Yes. Lahat yan, lalabas na discuss ko, lalabas yan.
Lalabas pa siya yung mga kung ano yung National Archive sir, kung ano yung National Museum.
Yes, lalabas yan.
Sige, thank you sir.
Welcome. No more? Baka makat na to, kasi 8 minutes na lang yun. Screenshot tayo. Screenshot tayo.